just believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just young downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought.
I can tell you that 7 years after Freddie Gray, that was 2015, spring, April, May. This is 2022. Communities like Sandtown, all we saw then and now in terms of investment was a renovated Western District Police Station and a new funeral home. That's what West Baltimore got. A new police station and a new funeral home. What kind of optics are they? Was Freddie Gray any different than 1968 Baltimore riots? Dr. King's passing, killing, murder? This is the same?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I think, well, first of all, people who are being violent and burning, that's, all that's the same. But the point is what was the cause and what were they attempting to register?
I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
I love you.
They deserve an ounce. It's got next. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
Good morning. First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. I hope that you are well. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yes, it is. Well, we can get rid of that one because that's over. We had a huge event on Saturday, the Black Press Matters. Thank you, Quandra, for showing up. And to the other members of the team, they brought me, I'll show you tomorrow, wonderful ink pen that I'm very grateful for. I'm very proud of. 20 years of BeMoreNews.com. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Saturday's event, Black Press Matters, for me was a reminder of the ingenuity, the beauty, the persistence and the consistency, the perseverance that is within the community. Now, our community, while Baltimore is majority Black, there are others who help make Baltimore beautiful, who are not Black. And I think Saturday's event was a culmination of the best of Baltimore. We had attorney Robert DeShield, who helps with this network, esteemed attorney Billy Murphy, who helps with this network. Joan Pratt showed up, Jane Miller, Tim Regan, and a host of others. But it was just a reminder for me personally of the value right here within our very own community. I wrote in my first book a quote that I actually got from Kwesi Mfume, but someone else had used it before him. And it says, we too often are like beggars sitting on bags of gold. like beggars sitting on bags of gold. The old people would say there's oil in the room. A lot of times, some of us play victim a little too much. We cannot change the racial dynamics. If you're born black, you are black. There's no need of trying to put some bleaching cream on. If you're white, you were born white, then you are white. No need to do anything to alter or enhance. We are who we are. And I think the sooner we come to accept ourselves, it's for all people. The sooner we come to accept ourselves for who we are, the easier, the better we can accept others for who they are. The sooner we accept ourselves, the sooner we can empathize and understand and relate to others. Everybody has been through something. Some people have been through worse things. I love the people who don't claim victimhood. In other words, whatever that messed up situation was that happened way back when, however long ago, not that long ago, there are those who refuse to be a victim. They just refuse it. I've met women who had children by a man who didn't do his part, but they never spoke one bad word about him in front of those children. These are people who don't play victim, they play victor. How long can we play victim? I tried to play victim once with my dad. I was about 7 years old, complaining to him about white people. He said, son, do what only a black man can do. Instead of looking at what we don't have, instead of focusing on what we don't have, instead of focusing on something we have no control over, let's focus instead on what we do have. Look at all of this gold here. Look at all of these blessings. Look at all of these potential gifts that if we just nurture them, you know, we can make something of ourselves. Something else that annoys me is Kendrick Lamar. He has a song. He said, he talks about people who feel entitled. Some of us feel a little too damn entitled. If I'm watching a movie and it comes on, I was watching a movie last night, and the star of the show is a detective show. The star of the show was talking greasy to her father. Now, apparently the father hadn't been in her life like she wanted. But this is what I say. It's just a movie, but I have strong sentiments when it comes to parents and children. If your mother didn't throw you in a dumpster, then go sit down and shut up. My mother didn't do this. My mother didn't do that. My father didn't. If they didn't throw you in a dumpster, be grateful, shut up, and go do your damn job. My mother this, my mother that. I know friends. I got friends. We honored a young man Saturday who had a mom who went through some challenges. And that young man turned out to be internationally renowned. There's another young man who didn't make it. He's now into politics. His mother was running around chasing drugs. This young man had every excuse in the world to be a kingpin or a dope fiend. We're going to keep it real. But he didn't. He did not. There were people around in his village who stepped up when his mom wasn't there, and now this young man has ascended, and he's earned every stripe. And I see people swinging on him still today. But this young man has actually put in more time in Annapolis and people older than him, 20, 30 years older than him. Antonio Hayes. I don't agree with everything he does, but I know he earned his place. I know he put in the work. The song that comes on just before this broadcast, it talks about that. Just put in the work. Don't complain. Do the work. I don't know how the song came into my life, but I'm so grateful for, because every day it's a reminder. You get what you go out there and get. I heard a young lady say to me once, "This is a white man's world." I didn't know that. I still don't know that. I thought God made this world. God made the sun come, makes the sun come up every day. The moon. The world belongs to those who go and get it. Nobody's name on this world. Not their man-made, their star, planet, the weather, the wind, none of that. Where do we get off with that sick thinking? You giving somebody way too much credit. You say God don't bless you, they bless them and don't bless you. Get out of here. As we go through this holiday season, what we 13 days away from Christmas, I pray that you protect your peace of mind. If it means putting your phone on quiet, or cut it off altogether, I challenge you to cut your phone off. My business is heavily based on communications. I mean, that was actually the original name of my company, DM Global Communications. But I need to make it more specific, so we got to marketing and public relations. But the phone is essential to my business. Phone, internet, email. I don't wait on snail mail. Who waits on snail mail? Unless it's a package. But communication, instantaneous these days. Communication is quick, lightning speed, warp speed. Sending pictures, sending videos, everything. So my phone is important, but I got to cut it off sometimes. I have to cut it off for me, because if I don't, it'll ring and ring and ring, and I'm doing all these other things. Tell you something else I have to do, and I did it over the weekend. Write down my list, my to-do list, because my old notebook got filled up. I don't know if you have a notebook, but I keep a notebook, and when I fill it up, then I got to get a new notebook and start all over with my notes, reminders. I'm 57. I don't remember stuff all of the time, and I like to know. I don't want to miss it. I want to remember what I set out to do. And when you write down something, for me, it's further pushing it in the brain. You have something to do. Back in school, they had read, write, review. Y'all remember that process? Read, write, review, and then do it again. You got to read it, you got to write what you saw, write down some notes, and then review it. And then you got to do the whole thing over. That's repetition. I'm one of those slow learners. I need to do it over and over. Like that math out at Poly. I had to practice all weekend. Couldn't go outside. My buddies outside playing. You went to Poly, wasn't none of that. They said you had to study 3 to 4 hours a night. I thought them people had lost their damn mind. But if you have never seen algebra, trig, physics, and all of those higher maths, if you've never seen that before, then you gotta catch up to cats who have been exposed to it. Cat ain't just end up buff, just woke up buff. You had to do the push-ups. We got to do the work. Got to do the work in this world. Nobody's going to give you anything. And whether you're a student, you're an entrepreneur, if you're a professional, nobody's going to do your work for you. Nobody owes you anything. You want it, you got to go and get it. I want to take a moment also to acknowledge the women who helped make this organization, who support us, including Peggy Mars, Sisters for Sisters, Marsha Jews, and Catalina Bird. As a Black man, I love women. But one day I learned that there's so much more to a woman than what we see. If we as men don't take the time to look beyond their physical beauty and understand their minds, their hearts, their spirits, and we ain't nothing. Too often women don't get their fair share. And then when some finally do, then they want to make up for everything that's ever happened disrespectfully to a woman all in one swoop. Don't become the very bully that you replace. Don't be like Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire. And don't forget, when you do get in power, that there were some brothers who were respectful, who treated you like a human being, treated you like their sister. Don't get in there, oh, it's all about the women now. Okay, well, I'm a black man. When nobody giving me no damn parade either. And for the brothers who are in a position to help women, but you only do it if you get a little something, something, you're weak, you're trifling, you're despicable, and a disgrace to your mother. If you can help a woman and you don't, you're a sucker. And this is Sucker-Free Monday. So if you can't help them sisters, then get out their damn way. But don't use your position of authority for your own selfish needs because you want a little something, something. That's a very weak man. And women take notice of it. I just don't want them sisters, once they do reach wherever they are supposed to be, not to be bitter at all men. Be bitter at them ones that hurt you. I understand that. But these cats over here who always help women anyway, they don't deserve any negativity from you. We all got some stuff to do, some healing to do. Healing, I think, is a lifelong process. We all recovering from something. Even if it's realizing what other people's pain and trauma is. Some of us have had a cozy, comfortable, safe life, no drama. Ain't never been over to Central Booking. Ain't never been to the funeral home. Ain't never been to shock trauma. Never been to the hospital. Never had to visit nobody in the senior home. I get it. But keep on living and one day you will. We all coming out of a storm, in a storm, or about to go through a storm. So through it all, make sure you keep God close. And this is a God-fearing network. I want to say that for the record. This is a God-fearing network. Before the events happen, before all of our events, we pray. We have to acknowledge the Lord, because God has been good to me. There was a time in my life where I was being very, very reckless, wild, out of control, racing and running these streets, doing everything I thought I was big and bad enough to do. But there's a cost. There's a cost. And so when we learn our lessons, we don't do those things anymore. We put childish things away. We want our name to ring good. We want our name to be associated with good things. So we got to lift up our sights. What they say, if you knew better, you do better. All of us. Nobody knows it all. I don't care who it is in business. Nobody has it all together. I've met millionaires, and they've told me some very important lessons they've learned. People just see the millions. They don't see the failures. They don't see the mistakes. They don't see how many times they failed. They just see what they see for themselves. It's a bigger picture, and it's not all about us. Coming home Saturday, Mr. Victor Clark said to me, a lot of us think we are here for ourselves, to serve ourselves. When the truth is, and this is what Mr. Victor Clark said, he was a friend of my daddy's. He said, we are put here to serve. We are put here to serve. We are put here to serve. Rent is service is the rent we pay for living. To whom much is given, much is required. That's in our culture. In African-American culture, service, giving back, is a part of our culture. It's not often talked about, and it's sometimes adulterated and skewed based on someone's warped perception. But service is the rent we pay for living. Harriet Tubman, she demonstrated that she had her freedom, but she went back to serve others. How many of us, having our freedom, will go back into harm's way to free somebody else? That was a serious woman. She's got her freedom. She got a house in Owens Mills. But she went back to Sandtown, back to East Baltimore to help somebody. They didn't say she saved everybody, but she saved who she could. The mainstream will tell you she freed 72 or so. I remember sharing it right here on social media about Harriet Tubman, that I shared the famous meme. I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. And Mr. Facebook took it down. Said Harriet Tubman did not free 1,000 slaves. And that's when the fight broke out. I told you I had a page with about 200,000 followers, and all of a sudden one day it was gone. But no problem. Me and Mr. Facebook had a conversation. That is 70. 70 is not 1,000. But did you go look up what she did on the Kumbaya River with the help of the Union Army? Did y'all know that Harriet Tubman, with the help of the Union Army, freed 750 slaves at one time? You got some off-brands who don't even know their own damn history gonna come try to tell me mine. That's why it's important that we support Black press, like Be More News, like Black USA, because the Sun, the Afro, we can count on the Afro, but the Sun, these other publications, you don't know if they're going to look out for your better interest. We're going to look out for your interest in BeMoreNews.com. Whether it's the Penitentiary, Jessup House Corrections, Protection Institute of Criminally Insane, from the Maryland State Penitentiary to the Fishbowl, the Hagerstown, ECI. We have covered the prisons. We have reached out to the brothers and the sisters behind the walls. We have said repeatedly on the show that America represents 5% of the world's population, but we got 25% of the world's inmates, and Black women are the fastest growing demographic, including that woman right there, Gwen Levy. She was amongst them, but she's free now. She's giving back, and she's helping other people in that situation, and that is important to me. It is important to help the people coming home because they look like me. The people over behind the walls look like me. We only 13% of the population, but 50% of the prisons. Did you know that Black people are 50% of the murder victims in America? Doesn't that bother you? We can't just, we got to do more than that. That is not enough. We got to reach out to the young people on the corner of Pennsylvania Avenue. We got to go there and talk to them. We got to spend time. We got to let them know they're loved. Because somewhere along the line, they didn't catch that message enough. Told you I was working with a young man right on that very corner, and he's in a GED class. Now I need to catch up with him. I haven't seen him, and I'm glad about that. I just saw a young man this morning. I hadn't seen him about 3 years. He's unemployed. He's employed. He's out here slinging a little weed, but now he's employed. Haven't seen him in 3 years. He said he'd been working. I said, keep doing what you're doing. Don't come back. You ain't missing nothing around here. Looking good. Able to buy some nice clothes and look presentable. We cannot forget about that, bro. We cannot think that Harriet Tubman was the only one that's supposed to be helping somebody. We can't think possibly that Westmore is supposed to do everything for us. We got to put ourselves in position to do something, to catch the ball. If you're in business, get with a business coach and tighten up your business even more. Because there's so many things to know in business. And if you came to the event Saturday, you would have had access to at least an accountant and a couple of attorneys. My banker guy, Mr. Jim Peterson, he didn't show up, and neither did my insurance guy. But we all need bail. The banker, the accountant, the insurance, and the lawyer. Well, Well, that looks like it's going to be all for the day. Thank you, Quest. Thank you for all of your support. My name is Donnie Glover, and do have a wonderful day.